Hello, everyone. This is Susan Montero. I'm Susan Montero from Homeschooling Nation, and I'm going to go through some curriculum today. I wanted to share Oak Meadow curriculum. I used it with my son when we were homeschooling before we decided to unschool. A little bit about me. I homeschooled my son from kindergarten to all the way to graduation, and he's doing great now. He's out right now working. Uh, He's in his 20s now, and I was thinking about doing this for many years, is being as a homeschooling coach and helping parents figure out, how to do this, and I wanted to do this for so long, but I wanted to wait till my son was older. I didn't want to work and teach people to homeschool while I was homeschooling. I wanted to wait till all of that was done. So here I am now. Things have settled, and I used to run a college prep. It's an audition prep school for young musicians, for high schoolers. And now I'm actually helping a music school start their own college prep business. With that, and I'm a violinist by trade, and I'm a homeschooling mom. And yeah, so that's what I did. And now I'm switching gears and doing homeschooling only because that's really, besides being a mom's my favorite thing, being a violinist, my next favorite thing, homeschooling, again, just the best decision I ever made. One of the best decisions I've ever made for my son was to homeschool him. We lasted 1 week in public school when he was in kindergarten, and he absolutely hated it. And it wasn't fun. The school was not, they were not nice. And I don't even care. I mean, if they're not the greatest, the most friendly people in the world, but it was starting to get diabolical in 1 week. So we left and we did a hybrid school system where we actually went through the public school curriculum, which I was not crazy about, especially the Common Core, made no sense. And then I pulled them out completely and we used Oak Meadow and I really liked it. In fact, I pulled up some curriculum samples for you. So you can check this out and, on a video. And then maybe later on, check out the website yourself. I'll put it in the comments. I'll put a link to Oak Meadow, the website, and you can check it out for yourself if you want. I'll show you what they have so far. I'm gonna turn off the heater. It was cold and now it's getting hot. There we go. Okay, so Oak Meadow. This is what we used. I really liked it. I did not have a problem with the curriculum there. In the end, we did decide to unschool, and that actually worked best for my son. But I know that some parents have children who want a little more organization, or even the parents do, because it's in the end, it's your decision. They're your children. You decide what you want to do, how you want to educate them. It's not up to the public school system. It's not up to me to tell you what to do. So I just offer ideas, and then you pick the best one that works and try it for a while. If it doesn't work, you did not make a mistake, and you don't have to beat yourself up about it. Parents should just move to something else. That in a nutshell is education anyway. I mean, I'm educated now and I've been out of school for many years. In fact, I've learned more since I've left school than I did when I was in school. So let's take a look. Here I am. Let's see, we're gonna go overview. Wait, let me see if I can find this. I don't want that either. I want which one? Curriculum samples. Okay, so here's the page. In fact, I'll put a link to this as well. Curriculum samples for Oak Meadow. They have all kinds of books, and as you see, grades pre-K to eighth grade and high school. You have all this stuff here. You just click on something. You click on it, it's going to ask for your email. You give them your email, and then you can get samples of anything you want here before you buy. I felt it was a little pricey. I'm trying to remember how much it was because we did it so long ago. I'd have to double check. But I felt it was worth it. I mean, or maybe you could get a hold of some other parents and see if anyone wants to trade books. Oh my gosh, I should start that where parents can trade curriculum with each other. So this is what I got. I gave them my email. I didn't have a problem. I got the sixth grade overview for you so you can take a look. If you have any any little ones in sixth grade, you can check out what they have to offer with Oak Meadow curriculum. This first semester, English, social studies, science, and math. And then you have the second semester, well, persuasive essays. So I'll just put this up. You can take a look at it. Note taking and citations. That's not bad. The writing process, direct and indirect quotations, writing a research report. Yeah, that's fine. I think it's sixth grade. Short story writing, expository essay, and comparative essay. Yeah. And then they have ancient cultures, early human cultures, and then science, cell structure and cell division. Cell division, photosynthesis. I think that's pretty good. And then math. Yeah. And you got the second semester. I'm not going to read all of this to you because I think, you probably read it yourself. Or just freeze the video and take a look. But this is, you know, calculating percentages. My son, he could do that anyway. That's what was really interesting, man. He was so fast with that. That was the problem I had with Common Core, parents. I had that problem. I remember what we had to do was my son would do a math problem, and I'm telling you, he did it in his head. He would just come up with the answer. But the teacher always wanted him to explain how he got the answer. But he got the right answer. He just did it in his head. But at that time, when he was really young, he couldn't explain how he was doing it. So he got it wrong. It was ridiculous. I was just like, leave him alone. If they're doing it in their head, then that's fine. Let's find something here. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Okay. This is what I downloaded this one here. It's just the English course book curriculum. Okay, so you can get the sample PDFs. You can print these out. How many pages are there? Let's see. Lots. Look at that. Okay, 54 pages. Let's take a look at the last one. Okay, there we go. Okay. I like that. Grade six. Yeah. Homophones, one. Yeah, there you go. Those are good. So if you want a little more organization, I would say you could use this. Here we go. Let's do the table of contents. Course material and organization for the parent. You can always read those. It's good to know what they want to tell you as a parent. Okay, so I guess you can enroll in the Meadow School. We did not enroll. Actually, I enrolled my son in the Cedar Life Academy. That's only for people and residents in California, and they were fantastic. Fantastic. It's just an online school. There were no classes. That's why we had this stuff here. We did our own thing. We kept in California, you have to keep a record of days that you taught, school days, and we did do that. In fact, I am putting together right now. In fact, I'm finishing up the last bit of it tonight. I'm making an entire printout of things that you can use to homeschool. And I have that. I have like an attendance record. I've got a monthly calendar. I've got weekly calendars and links to different curriculum you could use, reading lists, all kinds of stuff. There's so much information out there. I also volunteer for the California Homeschooling Network, and I do once a month, park days so homeschoolers can get together. That's my volunteer work for them, and I love doing it. It's a blast. I love working with homeschooling families. I think it's really important to homeschool your kids now, especially now. And yeah, and here's a section for the kids to read, writing definitions. I think it's so important to have your children look up words in the dictionary. They don't do that anymore. They just type them in. I have old dictionaries. I mean, it's not that old. It's from 1992. I guess some people would think that's old, but I have an American Heritage Dictionary. I still have. It's actually on my dining room table, you know. Yeah. Okay, here you go. Dictionary. Yes, there you go. They're on my page. That's why I liked Oak Meadow. You know, my son can crack open a dictionary and find the word he wants. Look up the definition. I don't, I just, I just think it's important to be able to do that. And to be able to write in cursive too. People aren't writing in cursive anymore. And then some people said to me, wow, why do we need to know how to write and read in cursive? I'm like, I don't know. The Constitution's written in cursive. How about that? How about that, folks? And I know they're not really teaching anyone, even in school, they're not teaching cursive, and that's it's fine. There we go. So this here, grammar, sentence types, this is really good. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't, you know. So I think if you are a parent and you want the organization, you want a textbook that will help you, get from point A to point B. I really liked Oak Meadow and never had a problem with that. Let me see if I can find, um, let's see. Let's see if we can find the math curriculum samples. Okay, let's go down here. What am I at? Fifth grade, eighth grade. Let's go eighth grade. Eighth grade overview. English course. Let's find, I don't know, let me see. Civics, look at that. Physical science, pre-algebra. I don't, let's take a look here. I already sent you my email. I already did that. Oh wait, never mind. Hang on. Hang on. There it is. I found it. I think it's, yep, this is it. There we go. All right. There we go. Let's take a look here. Chapter 1. Okay, so this again is pre-algebra. I believe I clicked on grade 8. So this is what is in the Oak Meadow. Multiplying and dividing integers. Order of operations. Yeah, I guess it's good. And again, if you're unschooling, don't worry about this. In fact, sometimes you can grab some books and if your kids are interested, order the books online and go that way. You know, let's see what we have here. Course material. Because some kids, and this is my thing. I talk to parents a lot and I'll say, they're upset. Well, is my kid going to learn calculus? Does your kid want to learn calculus? I don't remember any of that stuff. And I'm still alive to talk about it. I'm still alive to admit that I don't remember any of my math stuff from high school. I never used it. So I'm a violinist. I don't need to know calculus. In fact, I spoke to a college professor. He taught at Duke University. And I said, why does like my niece was taking computer science, and I said, why does she need to take calculus? And he told me, he said, she doesn't. The math departments, the math department needs students. And that's why when you're in college, you have to take math classes, even though it doesn't make any sense to do so. That's what he said. And he was a professor at Duke. So there you go. And it makes sense because you know what? And I tell my students when I was running my college prep course, I said to them, college is business. University is business. Just remember that. They're there to make money. There we go. Look at that. This is, you know what? There you go. That's pretty cool. I like that. Makes you think. Uh-huh. Yeah. So there you go. So if your child, and you know what's great about this is say, you have a kid who's, okay, this is grade 8. Maybe you have a kid who's 6. Throw this at them. If they want to do this type of math, if they're into this and they're great, that's the beauty of homeschooling. You can move them ahead. And there's no ahead, there's no behind. When my son was 5, I remember getting him to read. I read to him every night before I went to sleep. And during the day, I would throw books around the house. I love to read. When I was in college too, I spent a couple of years being an English major. And so I love it. I love reading. I've read many books. In fact, I'm going to go over some books that I think that young people should read today that I read when I was younger. Um, And he picked up, there were all kinds of books. I had a college book about space, and he picked it up and he read it. Readings, they're words, you know. And so he liked to look at the pictures and he liked to read, and I just let him read whatever he wanted. So that's what's perfect about homeschooling. Maybe you have a kid who's 6, and like I said before, and might want to, maybe they're way advanced in math. They're not going to be held back in a public school. You take them here, bring them into this pre-algebra course book here, Oak Meadow, grade 8. Maybe, just maybe, it works better, and if it doesn't, you change it, you know? I think I should start something like that. If you have curriculum books that you want to get rid of, maybe we could, I don't know, share emails with people and then, I don't know, somehow get the books to each other. I'm just thinking out loud. Might not be a bad idea, like that they give free stuff away. In fact, that's where I started with Oak Meadow. I had a friend who was homeschooling, and she had my son was a grade behind hers. So, I got a bunch of course books from her. Not all the time, but yeah, I did. And then we unschooled, so we didn't need them anymore. We started doing just, autodidactic learning. We spent a lot of times at museums and the zoo, big time, beach. The zoo was one of his favorite things. He loved going to the zoo. We learned so much about that. And even on gaming, like he played the game Ark and he learned so much about dinosaurs from that game. Amazing. He could name any dinosaur because of the game Ark. All right, so I guess this is all. Oh, hang on. I'm all about deals. So let's take a look at clearance. So here again, curriculum and distance learning. And here's some books that are on sale. I think these aren't bad. $25, you get it for 15. $9, $5.40. There you can buy things here. Oh, what is this? Admission parents need to go. Getting into college. Look at that. That's not bad. 14 bucks. Mm-hmm. If you want to send your kids to college. My son decided not to go to college. He wants to start businesses, and he started a couple, the dog walking business and archery and coaching. Archery is a phenomenal sport. If you have kids, get them into archery. Get them involved. Archery's amazing. Here's a physics book. Maybe you have a 6-year-old who likes physics. That's what's great about this. You do whatever they're interested in. What do we got here? Yeah, whoa, that's still expensive. 119 bucks. Whoo, mama. Okay, there we go. So you can subscribe to Oak Meadow. I see that there is something down here. Boop. Get their newsletter. Crafts and supplies, high school courses, resources. Looks like they're from Vermont. Mm-hmm. And I never joined this type of school. As I said before, we did Cedar Life Academy, which was great. It was run by Karen and Kristen, mother and daughter. And Karen homeschooled her daughter and her son, and they're doing fantastic. So great. That was only for California residents, though, the Cedar Life Academy. I highly recommend them. I think they're fantastic. Let me stop the share here. And then I'll say a couple of things and head off. I don't know how long I've been on. I try not to make videos that are too long because, who wants to sit and listen to an hour-long video about curriculum? I don't think I do. I just wanted to show you that, and I'll put a link to Oak Meadow in the, description. So if you want to check out the Oak Meadow books for yourself, you can download samples of all of the books and take a look at them. And this is for people, for parents who feel that they would like to have a little bit more organized days. And also, I'll be having a planner that I'm putting together now that I used when I was homeschooling my son. In California, we had to keep track of the days. And for us, since I was unschooling, the thing I really kept track of were our outdoor time, like where we were going to go. I planned trips like we went to museums when the King Tut tour was going on. We absolutely went there. That was fun. We read a little bit about King Tut before we went and we talked about it. We drove up, we drove over to Los Angeles and and he to this day remembers the King Tut exhibit. It was phenomenal. And yeah, it was great. We had so much fun. And that's the learning that they remember, because if you don't remember, if you see a King Tut tomb in a book, you're not going to remember it. If you look at the artifacts like right in front of you. I remember going when I was in sixth grade. I did go to public school, but the one thing, oh my gosh, I remember was going to the King Tut exhibit, and oh my gosh, the face mask was actually the original face mask. The one we had now that I took my son to was a replica. It was amazing, but you know, I had a chance to see the actual one and it was phenomenal. I was so excited to go and I remember it to this day. And that was a long time ago, folks, a long time ago, and I still remember. That's the type of learning you want for your kids, and that's the type of learning you're going to get from homeschooling. And again, I'm Susan Montero from Homeschooling Nation. Send me an email, homeschoolingnation@gmail.com, and you can check out my website, which I'm finishing up now. It's December 31st, 2025. Oh my gosh, Happy New Year. Next month, I will have it next year. Actually, I'll have it down more. And you can check it out. It's homeschoolingnation.net, and that's my website. And if you sign up, you sign an email, give me your email, and I'll give you the PDFs for the, it's just like they're PDFs. You print them out, you get a 3-ring binder, punch holes in the PDFs, and then you put them in there and you're organized for the whole year. I got the whole year of 2026 I've been putting together. And that's pretty much what I did. Yeah, and it works. Homeschooling works. Remember, parents, you are your child's expert. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't educate your child because you absolutely can. So if you need any advice, contact me, homeschoolingnation@gmail.com, and check out my website, homeschoolingnation.net. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have fun and learn, learn, learn. Bye for now.